Welcome back, everyone, to the Creator Spotlight here on the Spotlight. I'm still Jeremy Lambert. That's still Steven Jensen. And below us, a face you recognize, a name you know here on Fightful, Fightful.com, Fightful Overbooked, Fightful Select. It is Rob Wilkins. Rob, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing really good. Thanks for having me. Thank you. I can't really believe it. When Steven asked me last night, I was like, are you sure you want this guy? And so I am glad to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining us, Rob. We really appreciate it. Last night, that's Wednesday. Steven asked you during Dynamite, can you do the show to be on live here on Thursday?
Yep. And I said, absolutely. You got me.
Oh, yeah. Jensen is very confused.
No, I'm good.
We got it. I just saw Rob the other day. We did the True Heel Heat Sports Channel. We did NFC North predictions just the other day. So check that out, everyone who hasn't already. I'm rocking my Vikings jersey. Me and Rob are Vikings fans, so figured it would be appropriate to whatever, man. Skull Vikings. Rob's such a good friend that he actually bought me a bunch of Adam Thielen cereal up there in Minnesota, and he's sending it out to me, which is really, really nice. Adam Thielen's my favorite player. I'm wearing his jersey right now, so
that is very nice. Yeah. Nobody sends me anything. Everybody should send me stuff.
Yeah, I'm about to probably take work off to go to your wedding, so.
Aw, that's nice of you.
Yeah.
I'd say everybody come to my wedding, but we're overbooked at the wedding, so I don't know if the Viate will appreciate having more people. Okay, let's get into this things. Rob Wilkins, let everyone first off know what you do in the wrestling media sphere.
Oh man, well, I co-host Coexisting with Rob and Maggie every Friday on Fightful Overbooked, and then I also have Coexisting After Dark, which is on Fightful Select. It's just a post show where me and Maggie just kind of talk to somebody every week. We have a guest and just kind of have fun. And then as far as like Fightful goes, I'm like a backup, like a writer for Fightful. I just kind of help out when you guys need me to. And I've helped out with social media, setting up podcasts, setting up just pretty much whatever you guys need. I try to do. I'm just like that backup guy. So, I mean, I just do whatever I can, whenever I can.
Rob also does a great job just keeping an eye on news and dropping the news in the chat for us. A jack of all trades is what Rob Wilkins is. And Coexisting, the best show we have on Fightful Overbooked, 98% thanks to Maggie.
Yeah, maybe 99. The face that runs the place.
Yes, the Fightful legend Maggie is the reason Coexisting is the best show we have over there. Rob, how'd you get started with everything that you got going on at Fightful now?
Well, it is a long story, but I'll make it short. Basically, from 1997 to 2000. I was in wrestling media. I was doing aggregation. I worked for Lords of Pain for one day before I got let go. They had too many people that wrote, and I just got out of wrestling, like writing. I just didn't want to do it. So about 18 years later, every time I come across a wrestling website, I always see the initials SRS, and I couldn't figure out who the hell it was. And I eventually saw like Sean Ross Sapp, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll just go to his website since he's the guy that I always see. And then after a while, I just became friends with everybody at Fightful. And I got started with Fightful because of Sean was looking at trying to build up Facebook, like doing Facebook groups. And I had experience with that. And that's how I got started. And I always wanted to do something with Fightful. So that's how I started. I just started low and then kept on working my way up, and my first like actual Fightful.com gig was doing AEW Dark coverage, live coverage, and that was something.
The 3 million matches they still run on those shows every single week. Yes, I remember when you were doing dark coverage.
Oh man, it was just brutal, like absolutely brutal. I'm like, why did I sign up for this? This is awful. And then the next thing I know, I can't remember who was doing the Dynamite coverage at the time, but they pretty much left like right after I started, and Sean asked me if I had interest in doing Dynamite and NXT, and I jumped at it, and he trusted me, and he liked what I brought to Fightful, and he just let me do other things. I told him that I had news experience writing, I had editing experience and stuff like that. So he brought me on to help out when you guys need it, and I haven't looked back. And as you see in like the chat, I'll occasionally just say, "You guys need anything? Let me know." I'm just sitting over here doing nothing. But yeah, I do like occasionally send in news and stuff like that I see, and sometimes it's like, no, we don't need that. Sometimes it's good stuff, like good catch, but it's really fun to see how everything operates behind the scenes, though. That's what I've noticed that I like so much.
You can see me yelling at everybody because that's basically what happens behind the scenes. I'm just a complete asshole to everyone.
Well, not to me yet. But the best thing about you is I get to see the method behind the point guard, the headline guy too. So
the method is that I just keep working, and I'll put you over here, Rob Wilkins. You're not like on the news team, but you are always willing to help with everything. You're always willing to do. We put together a lot of transcription work nowadays, especially now we have like the manpower that we've never had before. So you're always willing to help out and do like transcription posts, and I edit a lot of those, and I tell you like, hey, this is good. And then, if there's an error, I'm like, hey, this, clean this up, fix this. And you're always like, oh, yep, gotcha. So you're always willing to help. And I always appreciate that. And yeah, just like keeping an eye on news, like you do a great job with that and just posting in the chat. And I know sometimes it's like, we wouldn't run this, but just asking just in turn just helps everybody because somebody else might have had that question. And then if you want to win, sometimes maybe you are trusted with doing this when, I'm going to be gone the first week of October. And so other people are going to have to help out and everything. Like you will have a better understanding of like, hey, I can do this. I know what I need to do here. I can try to chip in with different stuff. I like people who have a good work ethic and who are willing to help. And you do that. And I always appreciate that. Even I get very focused and locked in on news, and so I can be a jerk sometimes. I fully admit that. But I always appreciate that you are willing to help with everything.
Oh, no problem. I like I said, I absolutely love working with everybody, and it's like you haven't been a jerk to me at all, so it's been great. So I'm looking forward to that first time though. So
I try not to be. I really don't, but I get very locked in with the news, and I don't think I'm actually a jerk, but sometimes I do feel like I will come off the wrong way because you can't read tone in text. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh man, if I ever am, I will quickly apologize. And if I ever am, just please tell me like, hey, you were mean to me. And I'll be like, I apologize, man. I get very focused on news. Everyone, Rob has seen the process. I'm laser focused when it comes to that stuff. And that's why I have to toot my own horn, but it's just me and Andrew Thompson. That's the list.
And that's another guy with a great work ethic. Andrew Thompson, man.
Friend of the show, Andrew Thompson. Recent
He taught me everything I know. Yeah, he taught me everything I know.
Rob, you said that you started writing about wrestling in '97. How long had you been a fan? What year around do you remember like really starting to like get into wrestling as a fan?
Unfortunately, I don't remember the year, but the first person I saw on TV that got me was Andre the Giant, because I've never seen anything like that. I was like, holy crap, what is that? He looked like a Scooby-Doo villain type thing, It was just huge, and I was just like enamored with it, and the next thing I know, it was one of those things where my dad knew if he wanted me to leave him alone, just put on wrestling, put me in front of the TV, and he can go do whatever he needed to do. And so it worked. And I just remember, unfortunately, being a Hulkamaniac at a young age. And
All of us
We all
were,
were.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no way around that.
Yeah, I
we
know.
all
like,
were.
if you like, unless you got into wrestling, like John Cena era, there's no way you weren't a Hulk Hogan fan
Yeah.
at some point in your life.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was that weird kid that eventually I got about a year or two after that. I got into like I like this DiBiase guy. He has all the money, and
Right.
like I didn't have any money, so I liked him. So I started liking the heels at a very young age, which is somewhat disturbing when I look at it that way now.
Yeah, no, I was the same way when I initially started liking it, the baby faces. Like Hulk Hogan was the first wrestler I think I knew about, but Randy Savage was definitely my first favorite wrestler. Like once I saw Savage, I was like, wait a second, he does the elbow off the top rope, and Hogan only does like the leg drop from like standing like that.
Yeah.
Like this guy's way better than Hulk. Like I even just like the finisher alone, I just didn't understand. And but then probably a few years into my fandom is when I started really turning and liking the heels. Like around the time the NWO was like getting really hot, is like I'm like, start becoming an Outsiders fan and all this stuff. And obviously that was Hogan as well, in Savage and those guys. But were you the same way, Jeremy? Like, did you like the heels growing up too, or?
I was always Hogan fan. As I started to get a little bit older, because I kind of got into it like 94, 95. And I started to like get into the Attitude Era. Like I went more like Austin Rock. I did like Hollywood Hogan though. I guess so, because the heels were cool in that time, right?
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
the heel, like that was the whole thing. It's like the cool heels, because I definitely like Kevin Nash. Like Kevin Nash is like the coolest dude to me. And Scott Hall, like NWO versions, like they were awesome to me. So yeah, I probably did like the heels, but I was always a Sting fan. Like
For
Sting was
sure.
always, I was more Sting than Hogan, and then Crow Sting, like just anything Sting. That was my guy. So I just liked what seemed cool at the time. I was never like, oh, this guy's a jerk. The heel baby face, I don't know if it resonated with me as much as maybe, unless it was Hogan. Like unless it was like Hogan, but as I got older, it didn't resonate with me as much.
Well, with Hogan, it was like the reaction was such a big part of it too. Because even when he came back in like 2002, he was like a lot older, but like the way the fans reacted is what made it fun. Like it wasn't like the wrestling; it was like when he throw a punch and everyone is standing up cheering for just like punches and kicks. Like, and that's what I think wrestling is missing a little bit now, is like just guys like that don't even do a whole lot, but the place just goes insane for. So Rob, so you got in, like Andre the Giant fascinated you, and then you were a little Hulkamaniac like all of us were at one point in our lives, and then you kind of started digging Ted DiBiase and the heels. So then what's like the evolution from there? Like who would you consider kind of if you had to make like kind of a list of like your favorite wrestlers, who would be on that list?
My favorite of all time is Bret Hart.
Right.
And like it got to the point where my mom we were living in Tallahassee, Florida. My mom was going to Florida State, and I actually told her, I'm like, start looking at schools in Canada. Like,
Nice.
She was like, what? And I'm like, they have colleges in Canada. I'm like, you should consider it. She's like, why Canada? And I'm like, it's a better country. She's like, I don't get, what? And I'm like, Bret Hart is right. And I just walk away, and my younger brother's like, he's dumb, But yeah, I mean, it was like that. Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect were two of the guys that I absolutely loved. And Mr. Perfect, he was somebody that I just thought was like just so good. Like I just liked him, and I think a lot of it was just due to his like the vignettes he would do. He was just like somebody I just really liked, and I always really enjoyed the Intercontinental title. As I got older, it was something that I just really liked. I always thought some of the better storylines and the better up and coming wrestlers were going after that. And a lot of my favorite wrestlers like Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels would have their ladder matches. I was just always more enamored with that title until like Bret started going for the world title, and then it just kind of all went that way. But Bret's my all-time favorite. And then I took a little bit of a break in about 2001 to about 2003, because I was just kind of like, all right, well, Bret Hart's done. I don't like this there's nobody really other than like I like The Rock, but he's not doing much, and Stone Cold is not doing much, so I'm like just kind of done with it.
And that's also all the companies consolidating into the WWE at the same time too. Yeah.
So I was just done with it, and I came back to it one night. I was bored, and I don't even remember what got me, but I always paid attention though. Like even if I wasn't watching, like I always still paid attention to see what was going on. And I know I never missed a WrestleMania. Like so, even if I wasn't watching, I watched WrestleMania. But yeah, like Bret Hart was my guy. I even saved money to do buy the compilation tapes like off the internet that people would make, and then I got into tape trading. So that was my guy though. Bret Hart still is.
That's awesome. Our friend Doug, who we're going to be doing our the Fightful Football Weekly show with, he's meeting Bret Hart this weekend, which is pretty cool. I actually bought a WCW Ring Fighters Bret Hart mint on card and had it sent to Doug so he can get it signed for me. So I'm really looking forward to that. Nice. Yeah, but I'm getting one from him, and I also got a WCW Smash and Slam from Goldberg. Did the same thing. He's getting Goldberg for me too. So, I'm excited, man.
So he's gonna get a Bret Hart autograph and a Goldberg autograph. Is he gonna ask hey, do you know I'm going to see Goldberg right after this? Do you have any words for him?
It's two different days. It's like a full weekend show, so it's like a Saturday and a Sunday. But I didn't consider strongly, but I did consider two things y'all both might think is pretty funny. One, there is a WWE Mattel 2-pack, US title 2-pack of Goldberg and Bret Hart that's out. Mm-hmm. That I could buy, and I was like, I think that'd be too weird for Doug to have to go up and get each autograph one after the
no, you should have done this, Jensen.
Yeah. And then this is the other one that I considered, which true fans will know of this, or OG WCW fans. So the Goldberg that I bought, it comes with a bonus masked wrestler figure. They all come with accessories. Some come with a table or a chair or something. So Goldberg comes with a masked wrestler that's clearly Rey Mysterio Jr. But they don't. I think they didn't want to pay him, so they just called it masked wrestler and put him in there with Goldberg. Rey Mysterio is going to be at this thing this weekend also, and I was almost like, should I pay to have Mysterio sign the masked wrestler figure in the Goldberg? But is that too disrespectful? Because they eventually did release the Rey Mysterio, but he came out with the Giant as a bonus figure when they finally, I guess, decided they wanted to pay him for it. Anyway, that's a long roundabout way of saying, I know, Rob Wilkins, I knew you were a massive fan of Bret Hart coming into this, and I'm very excited to get a signed figure of his, because I was always more of a Shawn Michaels fan. Don't kill me in the chat, everybody, but I was more of a Shawn Michaels guy, but I respect the hell out of Bret Hart, and if somebody says Bret Hart's the best of all time, I'm never going to argue against that. So
you should have gotten Bret and Goldberg. You should have got the 2-pack or the picture. Everyone know the picture where they're WCW champions. Have them both sign that. How rare is it actually. Bret Hart Goldberg autograph picture or autograph 2-pack? I bet that's really rare. Somebody's got to do it this weekend. If anybody's going to this show this weekend, do this for me.
Yeah. Doug's got a really good show this weekend. I don't want to give him a free plug for but yeah, it's there's a lot of people that go to these things. Which is pretty cool. Charlotte's going to be there, and Ric Flair, and a whole bunch of people's going to be at. A bunch of boxers and stuff. So yeah,
there you go. Yeah, we gotta get some autographs out of this. Rob, you and, as Jensen just mentioned, you and Jensen are starting up a football show that are going to be that's going to be on Twitch, twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming with Doug. Tell me about your football fandom and being a Vikings fan and how awful it is.
Didn't you also write about football also?
Yeah, I did. I did for a little bit, but that was mainly for fun. It was just, I don't know, maybe had 10 people read it some weeks, maybe 20, and then it was just for my own fun. But I absolutely
we've all been there, by the way.
Yeah. So it was fun, and I've always loved football, and that was something I wanted to do. I wanted to have a show, and Jeremy was nice enough to give us Twitch to do it, and I asked if he wanted to be part of it, and I I think it would be fun, and we're just going to talk football. It's not just going to be Vikings talk, so I want people to know that we're going to talk everything. I mean, Steven might just talk Vikings.
No.
But
I'm really big into I'm really big into fantasy football too.
Yeah.
So we'll have plenty to talk about. But I'm going to be very biased towards the Vikings.
Yeah.
I'm going to let everyone know that right. If you think I'm biased about Cody Rhodes, just you haven't heard anything yet. So
it's going to be fun. We're going to have like different segments. Like we're going to have like our top players of the week. We're going to have we haven't named it yet, but something like biggest fumble of the week, like the bum of the week type thing, like who made the biggest mistake, kind of. It's going to be fun though, and our first episode is going to be a week from this Saturday, so we're looking
September 3rd, I believe.
Yeah, so looking forward
Labor
to
Day
it.
weekend. So if y'all are out and about and have nothing to do and want to listen to some football talk, it'll be 11 a.m. for 1 hour on Saturdays. So it'll lead right into Grapsity for people who want just like an extra hour of like Fightful content on Saturdays, which is pretty cool.
There you go. Yes, everyone, we're going to check that out on twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. We got gaming streams back on there. Now we've got original shows on the Twitch, and we got the co-streaming stuff that's happening on the Twitch as well. Rob, tell me about how Coexisting came about, and praise the great Fightful legend, Maggie.
Maggie is, so the first time I ever met Maggie was on our one of the watch-alongs on Twitch, or maybe it was YouTube. I don't know which one we were doing at the time, but that's for the first time I ever met her, and I'm like, this person is hilarious. And I was thinking, I'm like, that is somebody I would want to do a show with. And after a few months, like I asked her last September if she wanted to do a show, and she said she wasn't ready. She wasn't comfortable doing one. And I said, absolutely. Just when you want to, please hit me up. Let's do this. And I would check in on her. Like I said, I'm going to check in on you once a month, see if you want to do this. If you don't, no biggie, but you're the person I want to do the show with. So I'm just going to wait until you officially say no. And then in November, right before Full Gear, she said, I want to do it. Let's try it out. And I always tell her that I don't get I always say, I don't get the show on Fightful Select if it wasn't for you. And she's like, what do you mean? I go, I was pitching the show to Sean. He's like, well, we'll look into it. And I go, once I said I had Maggie, he's like, yeah, we'll do it. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, the show exists because you're here. And she's like, I don't think that's true. I'm like, it's true. I'm like, because you came and did this show with me, and we just work really well together. Like we just have a blast. And I just knew from the start, like, just the way we interact, like on the streams, that we would have fun. And that's exactly what we're doing. We have a blast. We give each other hell like all the time. It's just fun. Like we know each other really well. We talk every day. And she's learning about more about wrestling, what she likes, and I'm learning more about what she likes in just like everything, like Wardlow mainly. But it's such a blast, and I really lucked out by finding the right person for this show. Like, and I tell her all the time, this is a 50-50 show. Like, it's not my show, it's not your show, it's our show. And that's the way we look at it. And I seriously lucked out. I think we have our own like group of people that come in every week and watch, and we just have fun. We just have a blast. We have different segments that we do. We have a segment where she tells a positive story that somebody did like outside of wrestling. I tell a couple of jokes that I probably shouldn't tell on the air, and we go from there. So it's been a blast. And we do a couple things, like Sean's been nice enough to let us do a couple of charity donations. Like, so our super chats and stuff go to certain people. Like 1 week we did it for the Great Fowler, and then a couple weeks ago we did it for Mel Coleman, who does a lot of the AEW artwork that you see on Twitter. So we just like to do that. We like to give back, and it's just a blast working with her and being the best thing out of everything. Even though we have a show, the best thing out of everything is just getting to know her and being a friend of hers is the best out of all of it.
And you can tell. You can tell when if anybody watches the show, it's at 3 p.m. Eastern Fridays, FightfulOverbooked.com. Anybody who watches the show can tell just how much fun you guys are having, and I think that's really a big part of a lot of this stuff that we do. Is if like you're just having fun with this stuff. A lot of times, like viewership or donations and like any of that stuff, it's kind of just secondary because you're just at the end of the day you're talking about wrestling with your friends, and that's what we all enjoy doing. So I look, I'm glad the show is on Overbooked. I know it started off on Select, and then once we had to rebrand everything with Overbooked, Sean was like, hey, you know, what do you think of putting Rob's show on there? I was like, sounds great. It sounds good to me. And I know we had to move it around a couple times, and then it was going to be taped, and you were very kind to kind of work with all of our issues that we were trying to do as we had to rebrand the entire channel and everything. You guys were very understanding of all of that. And then it finally just found a spot Fridays, 3 p.m. and it's worked out great, I think.
Yeah, it has. And we have an absolute blast, and it's something that we don't ever want to change. Like it's just a great time. And we both talk about how it's our favorite day of the week because for an hour and a half, we just have a good time. And then we move over to Select and have another usually 30 minutes or an hour over there and just have fun. And this week, we're having unfortunately, we're having your arch nemesis. But I won't say his name. Well, Alex.
That asshole.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, he shows up for that show. Of course, can never do any show that I invited him on. But I know you had Cass last week. I'm sure that was something else. Bless Cass, that one.
Wait, Cass, like Cassidy Haynes?
Yeah, Cassidy Haynes.
Oh yeah, I got to hang out with him at GCW. Shout out.
Oh, Cass. I can bet what you guys did.
Oh, you already know. I told you. Yeah,
I know.
He did the show like with us from the arena. Like, so we technically, like, he would show, like, when Effie walked by, he just turned the camera and Effie just keeps walking. He's like, oh, he didn't hear me. I'm like, Jesus. And so it's just weird for him to do the show, but he's awesome.
Cass is a trip, an absolute trip, Cassidy Haynes. He will just message me and just, you know what state he's in, and he's like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's like, dude, this is how I'm feeling right now. It's like, I know, Cass. You don't have to tell me. Like, I just assume.
Yeah, he's the man, legend. Rob, got another question for you before we get out of here. A lot of very wholesome answers here, a lot of wholesome entertainment today on the creator spotlight. It's very nice. I mean, I'm a fan of Maggie and you two together. I think it's great what y'all are doing. Something else that I think is very wholesome that I wanted to bring up today. You've lost a lot of weight, man. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It has been a lot of work. Well, yeah, it's been, thank you so much. It's been a lot of work. I've just recently, I just kind of like I figured like, I just want to lose some of this. I was not sleeping well a lot. I wasn't feeling well a lot. And just one day I said to my friend who used to be a personal trainer, I'm like, hey, if I even said, if I pay for your membership, will you just help me out to tell me what to get started? He's like, well, you don't have to pay for it because I still have one. And he's like, I'll go work out with you. And he works out with me. So I pretty much got a free personal trainer. And I've been going to the gym Monday through Friday for an hour and a half to 2 hours, just kicking my butt. And I'm about, well, I'll say it now. I've been trying to keep it quiet, but I'm about 2 pounds away from my first goal. And last year at this time, I weighed 402 pounds, and right now I'm at 302. My goal is to be under 300. So
congratulations, that's incredible. That's legitimately admirable, man. It really is.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's shocking to see because I went and the other day I found one of our episodes that that Maggie and I did on Select that we thought was lost, that I thought I lost it forever, and I found it, in my hard drive, and I looked at it and I'm like, holy crap. Like I was like, who's that guy? And it just made me feel like really, really good. And it's been a lot of work, and I I complain like when I'm working out, but it's more like of a complaint to myself, like, look what you did, but you're getting there. And I do it because I got a lot that I want to accomplish still. And when you weigh over 400 pounds and you're 40 years old, you don't have much time on your I guess, clock. So by knocking it down 100 pounds, that adds a lot more time. So my goal is to keep going. I don't know where it'll end up, but I know I'm just going to do everything I can to stay healthy. And I used to be a guy that, I'll be flat out honest with everybody. I could spend anywhere from $12 to $18 at McDonald's and just on myself back in the day. Now I don't even eat at McDonald's, and I eat salads and like I add chicken and stuff like that, but I just make my own food, and it saves me money, and I'm happier too. So that's the biggest thing, is it's helped my depression a lot too. So there's been a lot of good things about it.
That's great. You look healthy, man. You sound a lot more confident, like, than you ever have, in my opinion, too, man. I think it's it's really, it's something where, like, I've been lazy myself lately, and like I see your progress, and I'm like, man, I see how much you've done, and I'm like, it motivates me to like really start myself too, man. I started doing like push-ups again the other day, and just like little things, just stuff to just try to get moving, and like, because I know I saw you when you were here in Atlanta not too long ago. You look like a totally different person, man. Like, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was like that. I saw the picture of us that not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was wearing like my Green Lantern shirt, and I just looked like, I'm like, good God. I was like, I just looked uncomfortable. And now that shirt is like almost down to my, like halfway almost to my knees, and it's just like, wow. So it's I'm lucky that I've had somebody help me, but whenever I say that, like I tell him thank you and stuff, he's like, I'm the one doing the work. And he's what means a lot to me is that he tells me he's surprised by it. Like, he really thought that I would miss a day like here and there, but I haven't missed anything, and he's missed more time than I have. So even when I don't know what I'm doing, sometimes like I'll just figure out something to do, and it's been great. And I don't plan on stopping. I'm going to be moving to Georgia here for about a month to 2 months, I'm thinking, and I already got set up with a gym down there. So I'm going to keep maintaining and stuff like that. So I won't have my friend helping me, but I know what to do now. So
yeah, and I know you'll be in Savannah, right? So
yeah.
We'll be a little ways away in Georgia, but like whenever you're up this way, man, my brother's got you like training sessions, like boxing, hitting mitts and stuff, man. Like anything you need while you're up here to
Cool.
keep it going, man, for sure.
Well, I appreciate that, but no, thank you very much for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
It's great to hear this, because it was something that I definitely wanted to touch on, because I've known you for, I don't know, year and a half now, maybe longer.
Longer.
Yeah, I'm terrible with time. Okay, like 2022 doesn't exist to me at all.
I'm the same way. It's like 2020 to now is all 1 year. I was the same way.
Yeah, exactly. So we've known each other for a while, and like I've heard a lot of the stories. I've seen it, and that's the biggest thing, is like I've seen the transformation, not only physically, but just like in the way we talk and in the shows that you do and everything. Because we would do the shows earlier, and you were a little shy, timid, like you would jump in and everything. And now, like you're much more confident. I can see the confidence in you, and like I know that doing the show with Maggie, like you just get the reps in, and so you just continue to get more comfortable and stuff. But I also know that this whole weight loss journey is a huge part of it, because as you were just saying, like you haven't missed a day. and you've kept with it. You stuck with it. You've changed a lot of habits, going from McDonald's to salads and making your own food. And all of this takes like huge commitment and huge discipline. And like, if you can like do that, because there's always excuses out there, right? Like, oh, I'm just not feeling great today, so I'm not going to go. Oh, something went wrong here, so I'm just not going to go to this thing. Like, there's always an excuse to be made. Like, I've made them plenty of times to like, okay, I'm not going to run today because this happened. Like, so the fact that you haven't made an excuse to do this and you've stuck with it and you've shown the commitment, the discipline, the work ethic to do it, like, that's a huge thing. And like, I'm just super proud of you to do all of that and to stick with it this much, because I can't do it with a lot of stuff. I screw up a lot of stuff when it comes to that. Like, oh, I really want to do this. I really want to change this habit. And like, a week goes by and it's like, okay, I'm done with it. Like, you were committed to this. And like, that is like huge, dude. And again, I see the transformation physically, mentally, like emotionally. Like, I see all of it. And we all have our good days and bad days, right? Like, we've talked about things, and I think people know, like, I think you just mentioned it helped with your depression. People know I struggle with depression as well. Like, we all got our good days and our bad days, but I have seen just how far less bad days you have had over the past year during this journey compared to before when we would talk. And it just seemed like nothing was going right. Things just weren't happening well. And like, just little things would bring you down and everything. And now it's like, okay, something bad might go wrong, but it's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm stronger than this. Like, I can get above this. And like, I'm just proud of you, dude. And I just went like, I'm super, super proud of you and everything that you've accomplished over the past year. And then I know you continue to accomplish because you've stuck with it this far.
Oh, yeah, imagine how you're going to look a year from now, dude, if you stick with it. Yeah. Oh my God. You're going to be a stud, dude.
Well, I'm speechless, and I thank you so much for those words. You're right. It's changed so much about me. I'm doing things that I normally wouldn't do. Like, one of my favorite stories to tell people is about a month and a half ago. I'm doing like some curls, like with my arm, and this just woman walks by, just absolutely gorgeous, and I'm like 8, and she's walking by. I'm like 112, 113, and she just looks at me and smiles, and I'm like, I'm like busted, right? And she just laughs, and like, now every time she walks by, I do the same thing, and she's like engaged and married and stuff, but I'm like, but I know I wouldn't have done that before, and now it's just like me having fun. Like, I wouldn't do anything like that, but it's just, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have said anything to her. That's like the old Rob Wilkins wouldn't have done anything. And like, I've noticed little things like that. And I think what really hit me like was when my nephew, who's 11, he, like, when he told me, like, he noticed like my weight, that like got me, like, because that was part of the other reason why I lost weight, because like, my family means everything to me. And like, when my nephew and my nieces saw that and see that I'm working hard, when he told me he was proud of me, that got me. And I don't plan on stopping at all, because I got a lot to do still. But yeah, so I got to stop before I lose it. But thank you.
Yeah.
Rob, last one. What's the coolest thing in your room?
Oh man, a lot of people always mention this Casino Royale poster, but I can go grab it if you want.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. 1 second.
The Casino Royale poster is visible. That's why.
Yeah, I'm about to say. Yeah, I mean, it's right there in the frame. So
it's the okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
It's the Casino Royale poster, or the door. The door is very cool. That's wide open.
Pretty cool door. Pretty cool door.
Yeah.
That was fast. Look how quick Rob has gotten, guys. Look how fast that was.
All right, what you got here for us? Oh, I thought he had his headphones in. The big reveal here from Rob Wilkins. here on the spotlight as he's about to show us.
Can't hear you.
I know. I'm setting it up for the people at home, Jensen. This is for so there's not dead air.
And we're back.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got here, Rob Wilkins?
16 by 20 autograph of Henrik Lundqvist.
Oh shit!
Signed to me that I got. I'm a huge. We both know I'm a hockey fan. Like,
yeah,
I
cheer for a god awful hockey team, but
yeah that's true. But Henrik Lundqvist was like my favorite goalie. Like he's just awesome. Like he was just badass, and I had the chance to get that, and somebody was nice enough to get it personalized to me, and so that's my favorite thing, like for sure. I'm a huge fan of his.
That ruled. I didn't know you were such a King Hendrik fan.
Absolutely love the guy.
Oh, he is great. He's one of my favorite. I mean, he's retired now, but like watching him play, he's one of my favorite like non-Avs players that I've ever seen play. Yeah, Lundqvist was the man. That rules. Your hockey team's still trash, but that's a great photo.
Yeah, I will agree with that. Like, oh man, like, and it was so hard to like admit that I was happy for you this year.
Well, you can be happy for me. I mean, I know our teams have a little bit of a rivalry, but you can still everybody. It was hard for me.
Well, I don't. I mean, there was the fact that they won, and that meant, oh Jesus, that's awful. I mean, that's the only good thing out of this is that you got to be happy. That's the only thing that's positive about them winning a cup is that you got to be happy. After your wedding, I hope everything at home's perfect for here on out. But other than that, I hope you're miserable with sports. Like now, after that.
That's fair.
Wow. That's not nice. It's almost the 2-month anniversary of when actually, you know what? I was looking at today's date of when we're recording this, but when this airs, we will be a day shy of the 2-month anniversary. June 26th is when they won the cup. So we're almost there. The happiest day of my life until another month and a half. But for right now, June 26th, 2022 is the happiest day of my life. Rob Wilkins, I appreciate you joining us. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Let everyone know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter at Rob Wilkins. Otherwise, I now have an Instagram at Fightful Rob. And then on Fridays, catch me on Coexisting at 3 p.m. on FightfulOverbooked.com with Maggie. Coexisting with Rob and Maggie. And then we move over to Fightful Select at 4:35 and just have a good old time in there. So check us out. It's a blast. We have fun. And then probably about twice a week, you can see me on Tuesdays and Wednesdays paying tribute to Bobby Fish in tweets. So,
and the new football show, Rob.
Thank you. I already forgot about that. Our new football show starts a week from this Saturday on Twitch. It's going to be Fightful Football Weekly. I was able to obtain the name. So, but it's going to be a blast. We'll go for 1 hour talking football. I think if you love football, you'll love this show because we got 3 guys who love football. So, and we'll probably have guests here and there, and
we'll definitely have guests. We already got people that are
everybody. They will have every guest except for Cole Radrick, who's not invited onto the show.
I told
He's
Cole
never going to appear on that show.
I told Cole in person this past Saturday that I would definitely have him on. So we'll definitely have Cole on the show.
Cole Radrick will not be on Fightful Football Weekly. Do not expect to see Cole Radrick on the show.
No. Cole's a Spotlight Hall of Fame inductee nomination. So
is. There you go. Rob Wilkins, we appreciate it. Again, check out Rob and Maggie Coexisting with Rob and Maggie Fridays, 3 p.m. Eastern, Fightful Overbooked, Fightful. Why do I keep saying
Fightful? Fightful Overbooked.
Well, no, I got Fightful Overbooked. I was trying to say Fightful Football Weekly.
Football Weekly.
Yeah, apparently I can't say. Twitch.tv /Fightful Gaming. That's starting next Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern with Jensen, Rob, and Doug. I'm sure I'll pop on every now and again. I have access to ruin all of these shows if I would like. Yes. So I will try to pop on every now and again on that. Rob Wilkins, thank you. Follow Rob, support all the great work he's doing. We'll be right back here on the Spotlight, everybody.